All right. So again, the number one most important thing is that you understand the concept, because that way we can do it all day, every day, and I mean, you can figure out chords faster than you can really learn them. You know, like you can find new chords every 5 minutes. You can have 4 new chords, or if you get really good at it, you know, maybe 4 chords in 4 minutes. Maybe even less. I don't know. I don't think I could do less time, but maybe I could. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, you could not learn them really in 5 minutes. You can't memorize a new shape like this, and not only memorize the shape, but being able to play it like where it's appropriate. Like how do you find it in relation to the root? You know, like if somebody goes E major 7 and you do third inversion, you have to know to start a fret below the E because it's third inversion, and the seventh is a fret below. So being able to find them in relation, you know. So like this one, for example, was our first inversion. You can see the root up here, but that's a lot. Like that's like really far away, so it's hard. Instead, you could think of the root right here, and this is your third, and that's old news because that's your third. Which means if somebody said E major 7 in that inversion, I go, here's my E, and then I do the shape from the third, and that'd be the E major 7. Yeah, big time. All right. So number one, that you understand the concept, and number two, you have it written down, and that you've been writing it down all along. That way, you can keep the ones that you haven't memorized or haven't really learned, even though you figured them out, haven't really learned them, because it takes time to internalize them. And a nice way to learn them, to really internalize them, is to like use them in a real book, and you can use them exclusively. But anyways, all right. So let's try another example. Now this time, let's try an example that you come up with. So what we'll do is pick a chord that will be like our source chord, the one we're going to start from. I recommend that it doesn't have 6 strings in it, but maybe I would say four strings. It could be any 4 strings. It could even be 6, but you might be finding that it's impossible maybe. So let's try 4. Yeah, you can do a 9 chord, because what you're going to find is that we're not really inverting. We're not inverting like triads exactly. We're inverting our voicing. So for every voicing, you can come up with 4 voicings, which is a lot more than just. I think it would turn out a lot more like if you have 4 intervals, they only become. You know, like you would invert a triad, you get 3 different chords. You get your root position in your first inversion, your second inversion. Well, if we add another note to that, like a 7th, then we can have those 4 inversions. But the voicing, we can have more than 4 voicings depending on how we play the chord. Like if we did C major 7 here, then you can have those, you know. But if we separated it, like if we did, like this is a really cool one. That's a C major 7, but I'm using a very strange voicing that's got an E string, an A string, and G string, and high E. And now I'm going to have that new shape plus 3 more new shapes that come from it. So then we have 8 different shapes for 1 chord. So technically we could only have 1 root position and 3 inversions for a major 7 chord. But if you play it, but we're not really inverting the chords, we're inverting our voicings, which means that any number of chords you have, or voicings you have for a single chord, you can turn into 4. You know, you get 3 more out of. If there's 4 notes in the chord anyway, you know, if it's a triad, then maybe you only get 3 because there's 3 notes in the chord. But so play a voicing, any voicing. Doesn't matter how simple. You could intentionally pick the most simple one, or you could intentionally pick the hardest one, you know, or you could pick the one that you've known the longest, or the one that you've learned most recently. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter at all. Just pick any, and we'll find out what'll come of it. Oh yeah, that one. All right, F sharp minor 7, flat 5. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through the process, just like I just did, only now it's live. Cool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tab that chord out, or I'll write what I'm doing. F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So now I'm going to tab it out. I accidentally started on standard notation. I gotta try to draw a line here. Straight enough. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be 2, skipping the A string. Yep, it goes to the D, 2, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, and so now underneath it on the staff below, I'm gonna write the intervals. So our first note is the root. The note above that is the flat 7. The note above that is the flat 3rd. And the note above that is the flat 5. Cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the intervals of the next one. So to the right of it, I'm just writing the intervals. The root is going to become the flat 3rd. Flat 7 is going to become the root. The flat 3rd is going to become the flat 5. And the flat 5 is going to become the flat 7. Now I'm going to write down the next one. Yeah. So the flat 3rd for our 3rd voicing is going to become the flat 5. The root is going to become the flat 3rd. The flat 5 is going to become the flat 7. And the flat 7 is going to become the root. And now we're going to have our last one. The flat 5 is going to become the flat 7. The flat 3rd is going to become the flat 5. Flat 7 is going to become the root. And the root is going to become the flat 3rd. All right, so now I'm looking at my original voicing. All right, now those are the strings I'm going to stick to. So I need the flat 3rd on my E string. That's easy. I just think of like a blues, like a pentatonic scale. So it's going to be the 5th fret of the E string. I tab that out above it. All right, now I need F sharp on the D string. So that's going to be the 4th fret of the D string. That's the root. Now I need the flat 5 of on the G string. So that's going to be here. You know, if you needed, you could think. There it is, like that. You could think of it in a way you know it, and then raise an octave. So that's going to be the 5th fret of the G string. So I will write that out. Next, I need the flat 7 on the B string. Right. So this was my 7 before, so I could just raise an octave to find it easily. So that's the note. And now the shape is like that. I better tab that out. That was the 5th fret of the B string was that. Boom. So there's my new shape. They're very similar. It's really cool. I play this shape all the time, but I always think of it as an A minor 6 chord, which it is, but I guess more accurately it's a half diminished because those are all chord tones. So I mean it could be either, but it's probably most easily perceived, I guess, with the invoicing that has most chord tones. Okay, have you got that one tabbed out? Cool, now let's do the next one.